So it was long, long, long ago. It was the end of the Golden Age. And all the treasures of the Golden Age were lost beneath an ocean of milk as a vast flood had consumed the world at the time of the Golden Age. And one of the treasures that was lost beneath the ocean of milk was the Amrita Kumbha, the jar of the nectar of immortality, which is the food of the gods. So without this food, the gods were growing weak and puny. Little crow's feet were appearing around the eyes of the heavenly nymphs. The Gandharvas, the heavenly musicians, couldn't play all night because their hands were getting a little bit arthritic, and they couldn't sing so long because their voices were getting a little bit raspy. They really had to find this nectar of immortality so that they could regain their strength. So they sat down together and they thought about it and they said, this is an ocean of milk, we should churn it. But how are we going to churn it when we're so weak? Now, when you listen to this story, remember, everything in the story is a part of you. Everything in the story is you. So they thought about it and they realized that there's one type of being who have not become weak and puny because they live on meat and blood and there's never a shortage of that. And that's the demons. So the gods and the demons got together to churn the ocean of milk. The demons lined up on one side and the gods on the other side. In order to churn, they need a fulcrum. How are they going to do this? Lord Vishnu, the preserver, took the form of a great turtle, Kurmavatar, and that turtle dived down to the bottom of the ocean of milk, and on the turtle's back, they churned the ocean. And for a churning stick, they had Mount Mandara, the world mountain. And for a churning rope, they had Vasuki, the cosmic serpent. But they made one mistake. They had Vasuki's head facing towards the demons. So poor Vasuki is going up and down, up and down, up and down. And every time he's moved forward, he's looking into the horrible, hideous heads of the demons. This is to remind us we shouldn't emphasize and dwell on our negative qualities. Vasuki gets so upset by this experience that he throws up. But he's a serpent. He has thrown up a deadly poison, one drop of which can destroy the entire world, and it's spreading like an oil slick across the surface of the ocean of milk. What can we do now? Lord Shiva comes along and he takes up a conch shell and he scoops up all of the poison in his conch shell, and he lifts up the conch shell and he says, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandham Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshi Amamritat, which is the mantra of turning poison, Mrit, into nectar, Amrit. And with this mantra, he drinks the poison. But a few drops of the poison, one drop of which is enough to destroy the entire world, gets spilled down on the shore of the ocean of milk. What are we going to do now? Lord Shiva's little friends, The snakes, the scorpions, and the spiders come rushing up, and they drink up every last drop of that poison. Ever since then, they've been poisoners because once upon a time, a long while ago, they saved the entire world from the deadly poison. So now that the poison is dealt with, they turn Vasuki around. Now Vasuki is looking into the beautiful beaming faces of the gods, because we should emphasize and contemplate on our good qualities and not be thinking about our bad qualities. And with Vasuki turned around, they continue the churning, and out of the ocean of milk come all of the amazing things. Out comes the great elephant, Airavata, the white elephant, who is the mount of Indra, the king of the gods. Out comes the wish-fulfilling gem. Out comes the Parijata, the wish-fulfilling tree. All of these incredible treasures arise out of the ocean. What is this churning? Meditation is this process of churning. What is the ocean of milk? It is our unconscious, where there are so many buried treasures. Finally, out of the ocean of milk, there arises a beautiful being. His skin is dusky blue. He is wearing a gold silk waistcloth. He is naked to the waist. On his breast is a beautiful pendant made of all the 9 great gems. He has 4 arms. He is holding a conch, the chakra, the wheel, the discus of Vishnu to destroy all diseases. Om Shankam Chakram Jalaukam. He is holding a leech, a jalauka. He is holding the texts of Ayurveda. But he is also carrying the Amrita Kumbha. There he is. He is carrying the jar of the nectar of immortality. Immediately, there's a terrible scuffle. Everybody rushes up. All the gods, all the demons are rushing up to try to grab that jar. It's a terrible scrum. In this scuffle, some of the nectar falls out of the Amrita Kumbha, and it falls all the way down to our world. It falls into our lakes, our rivers, and our oceans. Ever since then, our waters have been sacred, and we need to respect them. We need to not pollute them, and we need to take care of them. So Dhanvantari, the beautiful being who has appeared, who is the heavenly physician, the physician of the gods, is actually a manifestation of Vishnu, the preserver. So he cries out to Vishnu, who's himself, help! I don't like this! And Vishnu takes the form of Madana Mohini, the most beautiful woman who ever existed, and appears on the scene. Well, of course, the demons are very, very lustful. And as soon as they see this entrancingly beautiful woman, they've forgotten all about the Dhanvantari and the jar of nectar, and they're all crowding around the woman. And she says, let's get things organized nicely. You demons, you please sit in a row over there. You gods, you line up over there. Okay, demons, you see how weak and puny these poor gods have become without their nectar? Let me give each one of them just a sip. And after that, rest for you. Okay. All the demons line up. All the gods line up. Madana Mohini goes along the row of the gods, giving each one a sip of nectar. But there's one demon that's a little more clever than the others, and that is Rahu. And he thinks he'd better get a sip while the sips are up for grabs, and he lines up with the gods with her discus. The discus of Vishnu, Madana Mohini, severs his head from his body. But one drop of nectar has landed in his belly, and one drop of nectar has touched his tongue, so the head and the body of the demon Rahu have to live forever. So he's got to be given something to do. He just did his job last week. What's his job? Every twice a year, he gets to swallow the sun and swallow the moon. In our world, we call that an eclipse. That's when Rahu, his head, Rahu, his body, Ketu, get to swallow the moon. So finally, all the gods have had a sip. Is Mohini going to give the demons a sip? No, because we want our good qualities to be strengthened and live forever, but not our bad qualities. So she takes the jar of nectar, and she and Dhanvantari return back to heaven. And there's another part of the story, and we'll tell that on Diwali. Okay.